Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Very good.
Oh man,
What day?
fun day. Yeah, fun day. Fun day with Frank and with Steve, crawling through the attic.
Uh, were you guys able to see where the water was getting in?
Yes,
Oh, good. Okay.
found it. And
What
there was
was it?
it appears to be like in the valley,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
near the library. There's a valley going leading down to the courtyard,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they're agreeing that it was some kind of ice damming going must have gone on and got
Mm-hmm.
that what is that thing that's there?
What
It's
is one thing that's where?
flashing. It's flash
Flashing, the valley flashing.
the valley flashing. It must have gotten in under the valley flashing. And Frank, we end
Yep,
we went, Steve realized that we were still like 6 feet away from the corner, so then we had to go back up to the
on the
front
other side.
door
Yeah.
and all the way back down, and it was twice as bad on the other side.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, Steve has a nose for how to find and follow the problems.
Well, when we were in that section, the first section where you and Becky had gone, Frank,
Yep.
I was looking through the soffit and I could see the glazing of the glass wall of the library with sheets of paper attached to it. And I'm going, well, we're at least 8 to 10 feet away. So then we went around the other side. It's a lot of
Wow.
fun crawling through there.
Oh, it's yeah. For
Brings
for
back a
someone
lot of memories.
someone who's 6 foot, it was interesting.
Yeah.
That's how I got my start, attics and crawl spaces.
So I think there was either a kind of a snow dam, when all that heavy rain and the snow started to melt, and then it kind of coalesced for a period of time and then acted like an ice dam temporarily. Because when we were there this afternoon, there was no leaking, active leaking.
Hmm.
The woman, if I remember correctly, the woman in the library that we spoke with said between like 11:30 and 12:30 is when it came into that office.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was Jessica Carlson Belanger.
yeah,
It's her office that leaked.
yeah.
But
Okay.
there wasn't any leaking until this afternoon when she went
Right.
back. She didn't see anything. So it must have just hit the maximum that it could contain and boom.
Yeah, it sounds like what Steven described makes a lot of sense with like a temporary ice dam. Just any kind of rain after snow can cause problems, even if they're not long lasting.
Right. But the thing that, is curious is that, there's supposed to be, say, an ice and water shield membrane under that entire roof. So in theory, it
Mhm.
shouldn't have leaked. So there's something amiss, I think.
Peel back some
Hey,
shingles
So
and
it's,
see. Yeah.
pardon?
Maybe when there's no snow on the roof, we could peel back some shingles carefully and take a peek.
Well, I think when the roofer decides they want to come out and do that, because then they can repair it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's 5:33. I don't know if Steve's going to be with us tonight or not. He's probably had a busy few days.
Oh my
So I
goodness.
call,
I'll track him down just to
okay, call this meeting to order, and maybe you can share the screen with Frank, and he can bring up the minutes from the 29th.
make Frank co-host.
thank you, ma'am.
And I'm gonna make Steven co-host too, just in case. Okay.
So I'm going to write a little report with photos about the school, and then I'm going to send it to everybody next day or two. And any comments that you might have regarding that, please let me know.
Yeah, I gotta find that picture. I can share that. When we were looking at the I took from the roof. It looks better on a computer screen.
And when you say from the roof, do you mean in the attic?
No, the one I took from when we did the
Oh,
inspection, and to show that the Slate Valley roof thingy.
Oh,
There
good.
it is. Almost there. Guess I made them too big. Can you see that?
oh yeah.
I don't see any weather stuff under it. Or is that the blue stuff?
No, that's the GAF stuff. It should have had the bitchethane underneath it, and there's a WR
There it
Grace
is down
down here.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I wonder if they just abutted it and there was a hole between it. Because technically, I don't think it should have leaked.
Can you pan down for lower on that picture?
Yeah. Can you roll it down?
This way?
Yeah. Well,
It
yeah.
looks like the underlay. Oh no, it's on top. Sorry, I thought it was going.
No,
It's
it is. It is underneath. That's the piece on the next piece up, and this shows just another view of them.
That haircut.
Well,
Something.
well, this is Stephen. Were you questioning this cut?
Well, what they do is they trim the shingles and they cut right into the flashing. And I was commenting on that because, then the flashing can actually wear more quickly right where that cut is.
Uh-huh.
And especially when it's aluminum as opposed to coated copper.
But
And
it is coated copper.
no, I said
Oh.
if you were doing it with aluminum flashing, that wouldn't be as thick and durable as this is.
Oh, okay.
That's my point.
Got
But
it.
what is this here? This is a sheet up against this, and what is underneath this? So the bitchethane went up to this V groove, and then
Well,
this sheet.
the V is raised, and that's to get the water to not go from one side of the roof to the other if you have different slopes.
Yeah, my question is, what is this black? Is that a seam?
I think that's just debris, the granules.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But it's a little bend also.
Yeah, okay. That's all it is. It's continuous and then overlapped and yeah, okay. Well, that's what I had.
Yeah. It would be great if that was the valley in question.
It isn't because it's on the other valley.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
on the,
But
it's
it
just
could
the
be
opposite
it
end.
could be no, it's on the opposite
That's not in the courtyard.
no. And
Looks like
this one could be in the courtyard.
We'll go back up. There's a vent pipe there. If we could locate the vent pipe, we could figure it out.
Yeah. No, it wouldn't be there. I didn't see any vent pipes.
Yeah, looking at that ridge behind me,
Mhm.
I don't think, and then the
No,
roof
yeah.
that follows, I don't think that's going into the courtyard.
I'll show you
Okay,
one other. Yeah, I just want to show one other picture. I think I had to do this differently. Dun, 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 dun. So what you're seeing here is the old corrugated metal roof, and see the stones in there. This edge was a trough that goes the length of that wall, and that was filled with water.
Do
So
you have a
it
cursor you can move to find this or not?
did I what?
Do you have a cursor you could use to explain on your picture what's what?
Okay,
There
these are
you
the rocks right here,
Yep.
and
that's
this is the
I-beam?
I beam, not the beam. The I beam is behind all this. This here is the truss from the roof. It's that's sitting on a truss for the roof,
Yes.
and so that's I just wanted to show you that because that's why the water traveled so far.
wait a minute,
And
bring that back up, Frank.
okay, I want to show you. This is the truss where it was leaking, and this is the bottom side. See that right here? This is where it spilled over on this truss here, and now you get a better idea. That's what we were just looking at. This is just filled with stones, and that's the truss that was all wet.
So at the very top, that's the old that where you see some gravel and some.
Right.
Is that the old tar and gravel roof?
Yep.
And then that was that a gutter?
Well, no, what it is corrugated metal, right? So when they terminated it, they left the corrugating goes into it, but they left it'd be like this,
Okay.
and it just became an upside down gutter, and it goes lengthwise, and you see where the water spilled when that thing filled up. That's why the water went down into that little room because that thing filled up and overflowed. So I think
That's a good,
so where we found the leak, where you found the leak, you probably have better pictures than I do.
well,
But
I did not get a picture of that,
oh, okay,
but
yeah,
I got pictures of the framing.
right.
And
This is where Becky and I crawled in,
yeah,
and
well,
then
we were there too.
yeah, and that and Becky and I, telling my husband I have a new fondness of Becky in her shoes and new jacket crawling in
Oh,
the attic. So
They're my boots.
yeah, but I mean,
I
this is just the drips happened while I was there.
yeah.
So and that was at the end of it. So anyway, that's all I have.
That's a lot. Those are good.
Yep. Okay.
Frank, can you have the November 29th minutes?
Oh, that's it right here.
Hold it. Go back to okay, right there. So the question I have for everybody is when we had the meeting, we were talking about 75,000 for repairs. And then I think talked with Jeff and was concerned that that seemed like it could be low. And I think I was suggesting 125. Um, and I don't know if we want to change those numbers or just leave them because that's what we discussed at the time. Does it matter?
I don't think it matters because we can attach if we want we can attach the new proposal to the when we approved it and it's all written there.
Okay. Okay. Well, have people had an opportunity to look at the minutes from the 29th of November?
Yes.
And any thoughts or changes to suggest?
Stephen, I just wanted to let you know, Steve Sullivan said he'll be here as quick as he can. I think,
Okay, great.
yeah, but he's on his way.
So if nobody has any suggestions for changes, do I hear a motion that we approve the minutes from the 29th of November?
I make a motion, we approve the minutes from the 29th of November.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor? Cook,
Aye.
McGinn,
Aye.
Quackenbush,
Aye.
Dalmas, aye. Okay, moving on to the 13th. Now, in the minutes of the 13th, I made some changes to comment number 2.
Right.
Jeff, did you read through those recently, the number
Yeah,
2 there?
yeah, about an hour ago.
Okay, so that looked good to you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, any other thoughts, any changes to suggest? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to accept the minutes from the 13th of December?
I motion we accept the minutes.
Second.
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 All in favor? Cook,
Aye.
McGinn,
Aye.
Quackenbush,
Aye.
Dalmas, aye. And then we have the 3rd of January.
Looks good to me.
And I'll just, should we attach that the contract to this or just leave it like this?
I can send that to you.
I have it. We have a copy that you sent
Right,
us
right,
to
right.
with all the lines out. So, when I submit the minutes, I'll put it as an attachment.
Beautiful.
Okay, do I hear a motion that we accept the minutes from January the 3rd?
I make a motion, we accept the minutes from January 3.
Frank, do you second those?
Yes, I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Cook,
Aye.
McGinn,
Aye.
Quackenbush,
Aye.
Dalmas, aye. Thank you.
Yeah, another one, I'm turning my computer off.
Okay. I don't know that I've got everything that could be noted for the spreadsheet at Town Hall, but it's pretty close to being done if it's not. So we could try to finish that up. And then I've spent some more time at both the fire department and the highway department. Neither of those are fully complete, but if we get through discussing
Yeah.
Town Hall. And I have a thought, see what everybody thinks of this, that at some point after spreadsheets are complete on some of these buildings, that as a group, we meet there and walk through the report and find things that I missed or aren't presented in a way that makes sense, so they can be modified. And then the second thing I was thinking about was I was wondering if rather than having a photo indicated on the spreadsheet, that there just be a separate file of the photos for the particular spreadsheet, because then you could have the spreadsheet open and you could go into the file and open a photo and read what is on the spreadsheet, look at the photo, and go back and forth. I'm guessing a little more easily than if you pull up the photo, which would then compromise reading the spreadsheet, if I'm correct.
We can play with it. Sometimes when you click on them, they open up in a new window. It depends on how big your screen is. So yes, we might compromise it, but you still have to do something side by each.
Okay, so I want to start going through and assigning action levels.
Okay. Just
Do we know,
monitor.
do we know of any issues with the roof shingles on that building?
No,
Okay. So how about just monitor?
now when we had one of the more recent heavy rains, I think within the last month, there was leaking from the area of the cupola. And I met Dale Hool and Lenny, fire department chief. And we were up on the roof and there's nothing obvious, but there are a lot of joints, like at the base of the vent of the cupola, where the sill is and the trim on the side comes down. The caulking is missing, and some of the wood has maybe warped a little. So the guess was that a lot of the problems was possibly just heavy wind-driven rain and the lack of caulking at a lot of these joints. And I think that day or the next day, Dale Hool went out and caulked those areas. Now, the temperatures were kind of questionable, so the question is whether the caulk got to set. Uh,
But
but
there was no leaking last night. Because
none that
last
we've
night,
heard of.
right, that we heard of so far. But I know that last night was equally or more rain and wind than we had the other storm when it leaked.
Yeah.
So you want to put this one as further inspection in the spring. We can put a note in there. Because we'll wait to see how long the caulking lasts. Maybe it did. Maybe it got to set.
Right.
What kind of caulking or sealant he used?
No.
Okay. Yeah, why don't we do further inspection?
Yeah. Is there any water spilling off that because of the bend?
Are you talking about the gutters?
Yeah.
Um, well, I would suspect that one that's bent down, it's bent down a fair amount. Plus, the day that I met Dale there, he already had a ladder up, and I'm not sure why, but that's exactly where he put it. So it might have bent it down even further.
I think we should put priority high.
Yep.
That also feels like low-hanging fruit, like a pretty
Mhm.
easy thing to fix.
Does anyone,
Volunteers.
does anyone know if the drains have been routed out by, I forget the name of the company, but
Carl's,
Carl's?
I have no idea.
No,
Becky,
Becky, I asked Becky and they never got back to him for the elementary school. We believe that Jeff did a wonderful job at the town hall. The only thing we still haven't done is what to ask Steve when he comes. If Steve Sullivan got the one at the back door.
I have a feeling the answer is no.
Yeah.
Because I thought Becky was going to have Carl's do both
Do it.
places.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
But Carl hasn't got back to him, so I know that.
Well, she
So
got a quote estimate, which was just what they charge
Right.
per hour after they
right.
came.
And I mean, I like priority high again because we got to get
Yeah.
that back door thing fixed.
Can I respond to things I heard but I couldn't talk?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I have repeatedly reached out. We've got to find a different vendor because these guys couldn't even give me a quote. And I've called them back, left messages. They gave me two guys that had never done estimates before to go do the estimates. It's just I'm not getting anywhere with them. And it's obvious from again that water could have come in from underneath. It's unlikely just because it didn't come in anywhere else in the library.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still an issue that needs to be resolved.
Can you rent a snake that could possibly do the drains at the school and at town hall?
You need a pretty big snake.
Any
Because
thoughts on that, Steve Sullivan?
I had Carl's come out and snake a drain at my house, and which was only about 20 or 30 feet long, and their machine couldn't snake it.
Really?
Yeah, so you need a hefty piece of equipment. So Anna, you got any ideas on who we can hire?
I don't know. Would we go with like a company that does like sewer and drain clearing, like Fletcher's?
Yeah, that's an idea.
And where is Fletcher's located?
I don't know.
I have no idea. They
Okay.
come to you at a hefty price.
And it's Fletcher's Sewer and Drain?
Yeah. And are we sure it's just clogged with debris? Or are we worried that it's crushed or anything? The reason I'm asking is I have requested from Fletcher's that they bring out the snake with a camera if we're trying to identify what's going on inside.
No, we only know it seems to be blocked. We don't know why.
Okay.
Well, the one at town hall, if I remember correctly, you go a short distance and then there are like two elbows, like one after the other. Because I think Steve has tried to snake that, but can't get past the second elbow. Am I correct, Steve?
Yeah, within a less than 12 inches that it has 290s in it.
Fletcher's is in Ludlow.
Thank you.
I've got my big vac truck coming to clean the catch basins out in April sometime.
Ooh.
I don't think that this is the same thing though.
Does that company do also sewer stuff, Steve?
I'm sure he would. He was willing to do the vacuuming of the
Oh, the old
basement of the
town.
old town hall.
Yeah. It'd be worth inquiring.
Can you call them and find out, Steve?
I will do that.
Who is that, by the way?
We get him through the Burcog. He's out from Pittsfield. He's super good.
Yeesh. Okay.
Okay.
But should I go ahead and see if I can get Fletcher's out here in the morning? I have their number now.
I would, my opinion is we want those drains functioning as soon as possible.
Okay.
So I would call Fletcher,
I agree.
especially with the school.
Yeah, because you could tell that drain is draining a little, but the amount of water we saw that back door, Steve. I don't know if you saw it. Steve Sullivan, it had water level above the sill. That's how that room got wet again. But it could have been a bunch of snow too. But
Which room are you referring to?
the little room off the library, the water came in from the door.
A little office.
The little
Oh,
off.
the woman said that it was coming from the ceiling.
Yeah, but we could also see some water damage on the outside of the door where it was stained. Water came up about an inch and a half.
Frank, the new piece of information Jess gave us was that it wasn't until about 1 o'clock that she noticed any water. She went to lunch, and when she came back, her desk was wet, and so it didn't have, she worked in the office all morning without noticing anything. So water was not coming from the ceiling till midday.
And I did see on the plastic, there's still a lot of plastic up there that has pooled water uh, underneath the insulation. So yeah, it probably just built up, and then just drained.
So are you saying back to the door of that office that on the outside there was a high watermark?
Yeah,
So when it was raining heavily in the night,
it wasn't
the
draining.
underground drain couldn't
Yeah.
It
take it.
wasn't draining fast enough from the courtyard.
Yeah.
This is where the water, you can see the drip lines, and you
Yeah.
can see above the drop ceiling grid there. There was a bunch of dirt crap. So I think that's what happened. It just flowed over that curvature and just overflowed. I didn't look at the bill. I didn't look at the room on the other side of her wall either. So, okay.
Well, item 1.5 here on our next one.
Uh-huh.
So you've got soffit fascia, front entry, and then so I'm confused. This is at the front entry, but then the rest of the building is aluminum.
Yeah. So, if you're approaching the entrance to town hall
From which side? The front?
from the roadside,
Okay.
I consider that the front entry. I should put north there as well. But that whole entry block sort of sticks out a little bit
Yeah. Okay.
on the body of the building. So that north wall and the two side walls, that's all wood. And then across the face, I guess also the north face, that's all wood. And that's all wood soffit material. But then when they go to the sides going towards the back, that's been covered with the aluminum siding, and then they covered the soffit and fascia with aluminum.
Okay. And how bad is I'm back on north, the paint peeling?
um,
I'm just trying to determine, is it a high or a low priority?
well, compared to other things we have, that'll be high priority. I'd probably put that as low priority.
Okay.
If all our buildings were, say, in better overall condition maintenance wise, that would be a high priority.
Okay. So we'll stay with low priority.
Has the chimney leaked at all?
Yes.
So I'd like to put this as a high priority because chimney sweep would probably be $400 for a custom made big one or something to cap that or so or less.
It has a big one on it.
Oh, does it?
Oh, yeah, we just put it
Oh,
on. That's the one with the building committee's
oh,
solution. They put that cap on.
okay.
One of my concerns would be that given that the chimney did not leak during the summer, correct, Becky?
When was that last? There was some leaking at that, right. It was in the fall when we just had that at Ellen's office and everywhere else.
Yeah.
So the reason why I'm suggesting fiber optic camera inspection is to check the condition of the flue. Because if there's a serious breach in the flue, it's possible that when the boiler is operating, the condensation that's occurring in the flue, and the other possibility is, newer boilers, and that's a fairly young boiler, are a lot more energy efficient. And the flue liner may actually be at this point too large for the output of the boiler, and you could get serious condensation in there, and that could be what is the source of the leak.
Hmm. And would that happen at the top of the chimney as well? Because I know that people that were in the attic noticed how damp the chimney was, that there were, the water marks were evident that day.
Well,
Not,
it's certainly,
not as bad down here.
yeah. I don't know if I have the answer to that, but I
Mm.
think the integrity and really actually, I should probably expand on that comment, and I'll do that. But to see if the chimney is now too large, the chimney flue is too large, and it might need to have a liner put in to reduce the size.
How are you going to figure that one out?
When a installer puts in a piece of equipment, the equipment has an output or an input rating, BTUs, and then
Right.
that corresponds to there's tables they can use to determine the flue size.
Okay.
So is this like a 13 by 13 flue up there or 9 by 13 or it's not?
I think it's a 13 by 13. It's a
Yeah.
big liner.
And do we have a chimney sweep around town?
The last one I got a gentleman in Orange to do the old town hall, but he demanded cash on immediately upon service, which I couldn't provide, so it didn't go well.
Because I use Selkirk. A bunch of people around here use Wayne Selkirk.
I've
But
also heard a lot of good things about them too.
yeah. But what I don't know is if Wayne has optic camera.
Well, another possibility, not for inspecting it, but you could, Becky, talk to our buddies at Jamrog and ask them to work up the size that the flue should be for that boiler, because they put the boiler in, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, and if it was as simple as a 6-inch flex tube that they can lower down in there, the whole top can be capped off anyway and sealed with a big plate with a 6-inch
Right.
flex going through, and you leave that cap up there, and it stop leaking going forward. It's a good idea.
Yeah, but I don't think you can use a simple 6-inch Lux. I mean, based on, because Selkirk said there was damage like in my fireplace, and we use our fireplace almost every day in the winter, but you have to use a special kind of flue, not, it has to be, like double walled and insulated and all that
Yeah,
nonsense.
we have one too. It's this double wall, but it's flex on the inside because I clean it every fall.
Yeah, and they're not cheap.
Mm-mm. They're all stainless steel. They're expensive.
Right.
Should we call this a low priority or high priority?
Well, I think if it's leaking, I'd call it a high priority.
Yeah.
No, wait a minute, you still have it as low.
Oh, I thought, yeah. Good eye.
What's a vent pipe collar?
Well, the standard vent pipe collars that go on when you're putting the roof on, the base plate is aluminum, and then it has that neoprene gasket that fits like a turtleneck around the vent pipe.
Got it. Want to make sure I understood it.
Yeah.
And is the secondary collar just go over the primary collar?
Yeah, I actually put them on our house. You can buy them. It's just the neoprene gasket, and it just, goes down. It's like a second turtleneck that comes down over top of the existing one. And that one then becomes the sacrificial collar.
Okay. Now, are you going to choke yourself again like you just showed us?
I can do
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
So this is a low priority?
Yeah, given, the roof is not real old and I didn't see any issues with the current collar. So
On the north side of our roof, the lichen ate the collar. And that's why there was a leak in the roof. So,
well, this has nothing to do with anything I've seen on the roofs in town, but often on a slate roof, they'd use lead collars. Squirrels like chewing on lead.
wow, not for long.
Right.
What is the antenna used on Town Hall
Is that for
for?
the police? Becky, do you know if the police
For
use that
radio.
antenna?
Yes, it's what's left from our alarm system and then the radio, the town radios.
Okay. Just monitor.
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
These ones we've already done, right?
Correct.
Or somebody did.
Yeah, no, I know we did it. There we are. Did we order the insulation yet?
It's all arrived.
Oh, okay. So we'll pick a nice chilly day to do it.
Yeah.
So this should be anticipate future to replace or just priority low.
Let's just go low.
Yeah, because we'll get to it.
Exactly.
No concerns, not applicable.
No, actually, I would just put, because they're a monitor.
Oh, right. None, not applicable. Yep. Monitor. Not applicable. Filters, low priority.
What does a ninth manually operated thermostat mean?
Um, so there are 8 thermostats, which I think I've identified the locations under controls. And they're programmable thermostats. And then in the police department office, there's one manually operated. It's not a programmable, it's an old thermostat. And I think Becky had told me, if I'm remembering correctly, that they didn't have 9 thermostats when they put in all the others. I forget, is that right? And that's why the police department office doesn't have a
Right,
programmable thermostat.
right. But they put a thermostat in the other half of the police office because the conference room and the police department used to be one big room. So there's only one way, like if the police put on the heat and on their side, they rule.
That's right.
Um,
I remember now. Whoever has their thermostat set higher for heat, they govern, correct?
yes, I think that's true.
I thought the police were hooked up to the mini split.
They have a mini split now too. So they're in good shape without having to use the thermostat that's in the other room.
Okay, so I'm confused.
I'm sorry. So the old, they have their old furnace system that they can use.
Okay,
And they have the new mini split that they can use as backup and also air conditioning in the summertime.
oh, so for heating, they're not using the mini split?
They do some, I don't know for sure. They do some, but not all the time.
Okay. But the mini split has a, doesn't have a thermostat, right?
Yes, it does.
Isn't it part of the unit?
Yeah, there's there are 2 mini splits at town hall and there's separate thermostats that just control the mini splits
Right.
and one in each for each location.
Yeah, so the control is there's a separate control in each room that they can control the heat with.
Okay.
Can I interrupt the filter comment brought something to mind. I was at the highway department recently doing a little bit of inspecting there. And does Jamrog take care of that mini split, Becky?
At the highway, did you say?
Highway department?
Yes.
Because if you look into, Steve, do you hear me?
Yep, I hear you.
If you look into the base of the distribution unit for the mini split in your office and use your flashlight, look back in there, there is mold all over that area. I mean, that needs a serious cleaning. The filter looks like a replacement, looks to be perfect, but at some point in the past, there have been some issues and, you know, right now, I don't know what kind of mold it is or anything about it, but every time the fan is circulating, it's blowing right over that.
Can we clean that? Is it in an area that you can get in and clean it out, the mold?
Um, it might be kind of tricky. The thing I'd want to look at too is when the unit's not operating, look at the fan blower blades because they might be caked with dust and they would probably also have mold on them. And there are many, many, many little blades, that plastic blades. I think that would require some kind of release solution and, spraying and much more complicated than anything we could do.
Okay, so I need to call the heating company to come and repair the unit.
Well, to
Unit.
Clean.
clean and if Steve can be there when they come and he could point it out to them. So, I mean, it's very obvious if you just look in there with, doesn't have to be a bright light either.
Yeah, we've cleaned the screen and we've tried to clean it, but and then we've watched a YouTube video that shows you how to take the entire thing apart and get those little fan like roller things out of there, but we haven't gone that far yet.
Did the YouTube video you watch? I saw one where there's a whole kit comes in a 5 gallon bucket. It's got like a bag uh, to go under that unit, and you partially take it apart, and there's a solution you mix up, and you spray it, and then you use, I think, a garden hose and spray it again, and it all this plastic. It's like a shower curtain into a funnel, and everything goes into the bucket.
Yeah, that was the same video.
Okay. But wouldn't you say a tech needs to do that?
Yeah, that seeing bringing the hose into the office, that's where we said, no, we're not we're not doing this.
Okay, back to 7.1. Is this a priority low because we got so many other priority highs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think at some point what would be nice to try and do is to, I think, when the heating season is pretty much over, to actually try to determine what thermostat, if a thermostat controls the office, the small office that's in the addition, and the heat in the addition bathroom. Correct, Becky?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so is this 8.1 high or low? I don't like leaking valves.
I don't like leaking valves. It's actually the joint at a valve, which, it could pop.
Oh, they replaced it. When
This is in this,
in the we're talking about in the near the furnace when they came in.
no,
Oh,
no, this is back where the water heater and the electrical panels are.
oh, okay.
High.
Oh my God.
Monitor.
This is another low.
Yep. When used.
How do you seal a well head cap?
Um, well, there are different fittings and gaskets that, I would typically see. Sometimes when they say put in a new pump and they run new wires, they don't use a proper, say, cable type clamp to seal the opening. The risk is not real great there, in my opinion, because it's not outside. Um, and I don't remember things really being stored back in there. But, if you spilled something right above it, it could go in. So I'd probably say low priority, but
Mhm.
Is this the PFAS filter? So that's on a schedule now. So the replacement, filter needs to be replaced. That's on us. Don't the PFAS filters get replaced quarterly? Is that you said, Becky? Or
No, they're supposed to get tested quarterly or biannually, and then depending on the result of the test could show that there's some seepage of PFAS, so then we'd have to replace the carbon in the filter. But it should be at least a year or more before we need to replace them.
my comment there, Frank, really is for the sediment filter. So I think what I'll
oh,
do is I'll rework that to separate the PFAS filter and the sediment filters.
okay,
Because when you get enough sediment in the filter, that will
right.
affect the water pressure, but its flow. And so I'll change that into
Yeah,
two
it
separate.
should be priority low, but it should be it should be on a quarterly or a 6 month rotation on those.
Are you talking about the sediment filter?
The sediment filter, yeah,
Depends on how much sediment you're pulling up.
yeah.
So isn't this a monitor versus priority low?
Monitor, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Holy smokes. How about putting this in English? What are you trying to tell us here? So,
Well, I'm trying to tell you that there are some old sub panels. One's a fuse panel. There's also a Pushmatic brand, and the breakers use a thermal trip only. Newer breakers have a thermal and magnetic trip. I'd have that panel replaced. I'd have the fuse panel replaced. Um, and any other little wiring issues that aren't right. I always feel like with electric, you want it correct.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
tending to high on this one.
especially with the fuses.
They didn't make our building boring.
To me, sounds like you guys need to move out.
Oh, they just revalued the town hall. I just learned yesterday we've gone from $890,000 to $2.1 million value.
Who valued that?
Our insurance company without ever coming inside the building.
Wow.
So we can take a loan against the equity.
We can do some serious repairs then.
I know. I was all these panels that you just pointed out.
Is that their assessment of like market value or a replacement cost? Should it have to be rebuilt?
Was it?
Insurance
I
company
don't
ought to
believe it's
be
not
replacement cost.
Sounds
Yeah,
like it sounds like a replacement.
Yeah, that would make more sense then.
2.1 in Shutesbury.
This gorgeous building even.
yeah.
It's a bargain compared to the Kittredge estate.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Mhm.
maybe I could trade.
Did you put an offer in, Anna?
No.
Hmm. So 9.3, what are you trying to tell us? Is there any issues here?
I didn't see any, no.
Okay. Monitor. Yep.
Does somebody come out periodically and run the generator?
It starts up every Saturday morning.
Okay.
And is there somebody that does a regular service
Yes, we have
here?
a service contract on all three generators at the school, fire station, and town hall.
And it goes on when the Lake Whale Association has its meetings and interrupts things.
Every time.
9.5, what's the story here?
I guess I haven't finished that.
Okay.
Did you miss something?
Looks like.
Yeah, we got a reprimand that's gonna. I think we ought to cut his salary.
Well, the lighting at Town Hall, that we have a lot of different brands of lighting as well.
As the different grants came through. When you actually note there's you're recommending and installing it in the boiler room, is that a
Yeah.
hot wired one?
I mean, sure, why not? But I'm happy with the battery one if people, change the batteries.
What do you want to install in the?
I'm suggesting a CO detector, combination CO fire detector in the boiler room.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
Are there fire detectors in the rest of the building?
Only, where did I,
Only by the elevator.
Yeah,
The
that's
rest,
fair.
the
only
rest,
in the rear addition, Jeff.
And is a monitor?
there's
In
a
my opinion,
smoke
I mean,
detector.
Hmm?
There are a couple smoke detectors outside the elevator.
Yeah, that's required by the elevator code.
Mm.
Yeah, but there were no other smoke detectors in the building in the last since 30 years. There were some probably when it was a school, but they're non-operational, but they have not been removed. By code, they should be removed, but I have to find somebody to remove them. The last two fire chiefs would not do it.
well, if there's some electrical work done, that electrician could remove them.
Yeah. So when we do the panels in the future, that'll
We
be
can remove the
part of the punch list, and
great
he can also put a couple live ones in.
fire detectors.
I mean,
Yeah.
for now, we
Let's
could just buy some battery ones and position them in a few locations.
Yep.
Well, I'm not sure.
There's a
We
code
have
though.
a fire alarm in the building that for the first 15 or so years it was there. It was never hooked up to anything. It's now hooked up to our alarm system and the elevator. But it's not, yeah, it's not hooked up to anything else. So I don't know if what they'll think about having all these fire detectors, alarm, smoke detectors that are not connected to our fire alarm.
Uh, is this when the building's inspected?
Mhm.
And so I guess when the building's inspected, they're not saying you need to have these, huh?
They haven't, Lenny can tell you the regs on it.
Okay, maybe I'll talk to Lenny about it. And
I'm surprised the insurance company didn't mandate it
Yeah,
They don't know.
they
because they
probably.
didn't come inside to look.
Well, we really should be putting in fire detectors and hooking them up to so that they're monitored.
Yeah.
So where are we? 10.1?
10.1, no concerns. Monitor. Monitor. The beams, what would you want to call that, Stephen?
well, I'd probably just say monitor so that if you see something odd occurring, like the ceiling starting to bow.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that could be changed, the sump pump, because the pump was replaced. That could now go to a monitor.
Monitor. Yep.
Monitor.
Monitor. Crawl space, not applicable. Not applicable. Ventilation, HRV. Monitor.
Yeah.
And our favorite animals. Monitor.
Looks like he has more comments to put in,
Yes.
so we can move on.
Okay.
Thirteen point one just put monitor.
Yeah.
Does the elevator slash chairlift work? Does the chairlift work?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had our annual inspections again. Chair lift needed a new battery. And that's because everybody, I have to get another sign on it. You can't leave it all the way down. You're supposed to always leave it in the middle. So I'm always having to check it, but it wears out the battery over time. And so we had to have that battery replaced. The elevator, I still have a problem with. Lenny had to come and close the elevator up again. I still have to get the fire alarm guy back to correct whatever he did last time. Something's being, for some reason when I'll walk into the building and the elevator will either be sitting open on the ground floor or the first floor for no reason. No alarms have gone off, nothing. And it doesn't make any sense. But I can't close the elevator door. I have to bring in the fire chief who has to reset everything to shut the door.
Okay.
But other than that, they work fine.
Other than that, it goes up and down, huh? Okay.
It goes up and down and is still in not as frequently, but occasionally filled with flies, dead flies on the floor.
Okay. Where is the sink on 14.1?
In the kitchen.
Can we say that?
Yeah, right here.
Kitchen, never mind. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to depart
Yeah.
soon.
Well, I was wondering, I see it's 6:38. Should we
Yep.
end the
Yeah.
meeting?
Yep.
Do I hear a motion to end the meeting?
When's the next meeting?
In
2
2
weeks.
weeks. Are you away?
I'll be away.
Okay.
A motion we end the meeting?
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor? Cook,
Aye.
Ginn,
Aye.
Quackenbush,
All right.
Sullivan,
Aye.
Dalmas, aye. See everyone in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very
Good night.
much.
Goodbye.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.